From Yuhas McGinley Stadium in Penn Hills tonight, it's a return. After 6 years, the Woodland Hills Wolverines come back to Penn Hills to take on the Penn Hills Indians. A very pleasant good evening to you, along with my broadcast partners, Tanner Saprosky. I'm Bill Navari, and tonight, before no fans, no cheerleaders, no band, and practically nobody, the Indians and the Wolverines are going to renew the rivalry which they brought back last season after a 5-year hiatus. Tanner.
Very excited to be here. We're one of the few people that are actually allowed inside of the stadium tonight, but I expect this game to be high pace, pretty physical game, but excited to get out here and watch some high school football tonight.
Indians yet to get on the winning on a winning side tonight. This season they are 0-2 after losses to Central and Gateway. It will not be easy tonight. The Indian defense has played well, although giving up a lot of points. The offense has not gotten on track this season, and they've left the defense in some difficult positions. And it won't get easier tonight for the Penn Hills Indians because they will be facing probably one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the WPIAL in Deontay Williams.
Yeah, Deontay Williams, very dynamic quarterback. He can throw the ball and run the ball. As you mentioned, a dual-threat guy on the Wolverines sidelines. So far this year, his passing hasn't been as good as we normally see. He's only 13 for 29, 138 total passing yards, only one passing touchdown. He's 37 carries and 222 rushing yards so far this season. So it's going to be very critical for this Penn Hills defense to contain Deontay Williams, try to keep him in the pocket and make him a passing quarterback and try to take away his legs where he's done most of his damage so far this season.
Meanwhile, for the Penn Hills Indians, they are waiting for Julian Duggar to get on track, the 6'2", 185-pound sophomore left-handed quarterback for the Penn Hills Indians. It's not all been his fault. He's not had a lot of time in the back, so the Indians line needs to give the kid some help. But he has some big targets out there, and big brother Jaden Duggar. Also a couple nice receivers as well with Chase Barney and Ryan Strader.
Yeah, kind of just waiting to see how this Penn Hills offense is going to pan out because, as you mentioned, Julian Duggar, he has a lot of potential. He's a solid quarterback. He has the receivers to get it done, but it all starts in the trenches up front. If you can't block for your quarterback, it's going to be hard to pass the ball and even harder to establish a running game, which sets up the passing game. So this Woodland Hills defense is going to be aggressive, so that Penn Hills front five has to stay strong tonight to protect Duggar and open up some holes for running back Amir Key as well. But either way, I think it's going to be a close game, battling back and forth, very physical. It's just a matter of time as we're almost underway here. An early 6 o'clock kickoff. They moved the game up from 7 to 6. So an early start tonight as we're almost ready for kickoff. But again, very excited to be here to watch these two teams compete tonight.
Well, the early start should help you get back to Waynesburg at a reasonable time tonight.
Yep. Up and announce the Waynesburg football game against Teal College at 1 o'clock tomorrow at John F. Wiley Stadium.
Very physical.
So back-to-back days announcing football.
I will be here early 6 o'clock.
Wolverines making their way out onto the field. And the Indians will be joining them shortly. Prior to tonight's game, there will be a moment of unity between the two teams. Out at midfield, just in recognition of the incidents which have happened of late in the community. So the Wolverines in the teal helmets and all white and teal jerseys, or teal numbers on the jerseys. Indians red helmets, red jerseys, and gold pants. It's always been my favorite combination.
I was just about to say, a very aesthetic game as far as uniforms for both these teams. Woodland Hills looking clean in the white uniforms. As you mentioned, Penn Hills uniforms, a great combination. So a good game on the field and with the uniforms tonight.
We will have the ceremonial coin toss. Indian captains are Amir Rollins. That's number 23. Big number 77, Christian Williams, 6'5", 300 pounds. And on the right, DeAndre Cochran. Deontay Williams, Gene Edmondson, Jeremiah Ramsey, captains for the Wolverines.
At this point in time, both teams are gathering at midfield for a demonstration of unity, both in football and in the community.
So we grew up together. Me and you know each other for a long time. But one of the things I love is that community. And Greater Valley Community Services, you work with them, trying to get them to do some things.
Nice to see both teams out there sharing good thoughts.
Have the same amount of energy around when we have these cases where we have people killed in our community as we have when other people outside of the community come in and kill people. So the same energy, the same effort to get to resolution and resolve, and it's unacceptable. Gun violence, it's unacceptable. So all that going back to no snitching. And we are upline, we're law-abiding citizens, and we want this gun violence to stop.
And a lot of times, actually, a lot of this stuff can be resolved. People just speak up, period. Nobody wants to just next to a killer or a child molester. And you know what I'm saying? All this stuff that's going on. And so we have to speak up. I mean, it's plain and simple. We want to resolve some of these crimes, some of these homicides. We have to come to
Both teams sharing a moment of unity prior to tonight's game.
criminals who act together. We want to have a community, saving these babies, and making sure that the community is healthy and our babies can live forward and do some great things and contribute to society.
We want to thank
Coach Brian
Marie and
Tarrant.
Andre over here. Thank you for all the work that you do in the community. We definitely
Words
want
of
to see
wisdom.
young people.
Captains for tonight's game.
That was nice to see as teams now will head to their respective sidelines. This has always been a heated rivalry, but the absence of this game for a period of 5 years kind of cooled things off. But last year was a nice game down at the Wolverina. Again, no fans at that one due to COVID.
Williamson, number 19,
But it's nice to see the Indians and the Wolverines starting to get that rivalry renewed.
Yeah, in high school, I mean, two schools going against each other. It's going to be a rivalry, but as you mentioned, a 5-year absence. So those freshmen grew up to seniors. So this is two whole new teams for both these schools going against each other. But a rivalry is still a rivalry no matter who's on the team. So again, expecting a great game, a physical game tonight between these two sides.
Last time the Indians were here, or excuse me, the Wolverines were here, George Novak, who's the coach of Woodland Hills. And tonight, it's Tim Boston. But it's nice. There have been some great games in this rivalry. I've been doing Penn Hills, Woodland Hills games for the last 28 years. Pretty even. And Woodland Hills, I think, up 2 or 3 games in the all-time series.
Both teams struggling a little bit this year on both sides of the ball. But again, you go back to these two teams have been playing each other for many years going back in time. So highly anticipated kickoff here for Penn Hills and Woodland Hills.
Charlie Rosemeyer will kick off for Penn Hills. A very warm night on the back half of September. And we are underway. Kickoff taken at the 8-yard line. And a nice return by Deontay Williams. We'll get out close to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of Deontay Williams tonight. As we said, he's a starting quarterback. He returns kicks, returns punts. Playing little safety on the defensive side of the ball. 6-foot senior. As we mentioned, a dual threat quarterback. So Penn Hills, probably a lot of its game plan on the defensive side of the ball went into stopping and containing Deontay Williams.
Interesting formation for the Wolverines. And he'll throw right, and Penn Hills is there. Angelo Reddix will fight his way ahead for maybe 2 yards.
Yeah, a strange way to start the game out. We saw 6 or 7 players on this near sideline here to the left. Ultimately, they were a diversion as Williams threw it out wide to the right. But good job by the Penn Hills defense to sniff it out and hold them to a short gain of just 2.
A big hole up the middle in Woodland Hills, just like that. Eric Seibels. I wasn't even sure if he was going to play tonight because he's a bit gimped. Managed to rumble.
Touchdown.
60 yards for the Woodland Hills touchdown.
That's a way to start the game here. Just not even a minute into the game tonight. And Seibels, as you mentioned, might not have played tonight or had limited snaps tonight, and he starts off this game with a bang.
Look, the Wolverines, 53 seconds. Filka with the kick, and it's up and through. 11:07 to go. First quarter, Woodland Hills 7, Penn Hills nothing here on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network.
Penn Hills 0.
Didn't take a lot for the Wolverines to get going there. 3 plays, and the Wolverines find the back of the end zone. Great way to start off this game. As we mentioned coming into it, the defense, both teams have struggled a little bit. Woodland Hills' offense a little slow to start the season as well, only averaging 8.7 points per game through their first 3 games. They come in with a 1-2 record. That only win coming in week 0, a 20-0 shutout win against Wayne Valley, New Jersey. And the next game, when they went to McKeesport, a 7-6 loss. So the defense stepped up there for Woodland Hills. But once again, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the offense has been the problem for Woodland Hills so far this season. But a great way to start off this game. The long run there from Seibels, 7-0 Wolverines after 3 plays.
Kickoff coming in the near side, out of bounds.
Flag on the play.
Now the Indian offense, which has been struggling, is going to get onto the field, already trailing 7-0. Now the Wolverines faked a jet sweep, and it was just a simple dive play, just up the middle, and Seibels,
Penn Hills begins their drive on the
after 60
35-yard
yards,
line.
practically untouched.
Yeah, that's another thing with Deontay Williams being such a good rusher. You can throw out different formations, put different guys in motion, because you know Woodland Hills can run the ball, especially with a quarterback. So just a good play call there, good play design, and once again, a big 7-0 lead to start this game.
Duggar, the left-handed quarterback from the shotgun, fakes to Amir Rollins, keeps it himself, comes to the near side, up, stumbles across the 40, out to the 41-yard line. Will pick up 6. And the Indians will be looking at a 2nd down and 4.
Calling his name already on the defensive side of the ball. Deontay Williams coming up from the secondary to make that tackle.
Well, the kid can play.
And he'll play everywhere tonight,
sides,
all season.
Both sides of the ball, he is solid. Rollins to Duggar's left. That's Amir Key to his right. And Duggar will roll that way, under pressure, looks, throws, and throws over the head and out of bounds of Rand Strader. Duggar was just throwing that one away.
Just getting chased down by Gene Edmondson, forced him all the way out to his left, and no other option really but to throw it into the Woody High bench, bringing up a 3rd and short for the Indians.
Indians will send trips to the left. Twins to the near side. Empty set for Duggar on the 3rd and 4. Quick pass, throws, complete. And that'll be a first down for the Indians. That's Jaden Duggar.
To Jaden Duggar. That play results in a Penn Hills first down.
Well, something that Penn Hills Indians offense hasn't seen much of this year, and it's a first down.
That was a great job by Jaden Duggar there. He caught the ball near the first down. He reached the ball over. Just great job by Duggar there to pick up the first down for the Indians, keep this drive alive.
Duggar, quarterback sweep this way. Across the 50, first down, close to the 40. Go down at the Wolverine 41-yard line. It's a pickup of 13 and another first down for the Indians.
By number 10, Jeremiah Ramsey.
Jeremiah Ramsey with the tackle for the Wolverines.
First down.
But Duggar would not be denied that first down.
And we're going to see a lot of runs from both of these quarterbacks so far tonight. Julian Duggar, despite that one throw where he had to throw it into the Wolverines bench, he's been pretty efficient so far in this first drive.
Indians coming this way. Big hole, out of bounds near the 30-yard line is Amir Rollins.
Amir Rollins on the carry. Knocked out of bounds by Deontay Williams.
Down to the 29, a pickup of 12.
In Penn Hills.
And the Indians back-to-back first downs. Clock running, stopped for the moment, 9:17 to go here in the first quarter. Wolverines up 7-0. Again, empty set for Duggar. Keeps it himself. And nice defensive play by Julian Jeffries of the
Duggar run down
Wolverines.
in the backfield by number 50.
Actually dropped for a sack and a loss of 5. There's a big hole opened up there, and Jeffries came out of nowhere and was able to bring Duggar down from behind.
Yeah, it was a great solo tackle there by Julian Jeffries. Able to keep Duggar in the backfield, ultimately losing 3 yards. But great individual defensive work there.
Wide receiver screen this way to Jaden Duggar. Has some blockers in front. Gets inside the 20 to 10. Down to the 5. Carries a Wolverine into the end zone for the Penn Hills touchdown.
Duggar pass complete to Duggar for a Penn Hills touchdown.
33 yards on the score. Duggar to Duggar.
See the connection with the two brothers so far in this game. 2 completions on that drive. And Jaden Duggar finding his way into the end zone. And what a great way to respond for Penn Hills with the extra point coming up and a chance to tie it.
Kick up, and we are tied. 8:28 to go, first quarter. Woodland Hills 7, Penn Hills 7. Here on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network.
As we mentioned pre-game, both of these teams' offenses struggling heavily so far this season. As I mentioned earlier, Woodland Hills only 8.7 points per game. The Indians come to this one 10 points per game. I've only scored 20 points so far through the first 2 games of the season, but great way to respond for Penn Hills after giving up that quick touchdown on Woodland Hills' first drive. But now we find ourselves tied up at 7 after that Jaden Duggar 33-yard receiving touchdown. And a great individual effort dragging the Wolverines defender on his back into the end zone. But again, just a great response to that long Woodland Hills touchdown on the first drive of the game.
Seven plays, 65 yards for the Indians. Kick taken at the 10. Angelo Reddix. We'll go down at the 25 with some penalties, flags on the
Angelo
field.
Reddix on the return. Flag on the play.
See Coach LaDawn there on the sideline.
Woodland Hills.
So now here's a big test for the Indian defense. The offense came back and tied the score. And now the Indians need to try to keep the Woodland Hills Wolverines from scoring again. Penalty will mark them back to the 10-yard line.
And the defense getting a great opportunity here, forcing the Wolverines to go 90 yards to see what the Penn Hills defense is made up of on this drive. Woodland Hills a long way to go to get into the Penn Hills end zone now.
On the carry.
No gain for Siebels, who had the touchdown run.
Tackle on the play by Amir Key.
Jaden Duggar was lined up on the outside on that play, was creeping his way towards the line of scrimmage, came off a corner blitz, but Williams just handing it off. Duggar would have been in a great position to come up with a sack if Williams chose to hold on to that one.
You know, you wonder if the Indians have a spy that's sole purpose is to go wherever Williams goes, stay on him.
And so far, Williams hasn't done anything too crazy on that first drive or the first play of this
Well, it was only 3
second
plays
drive.
after.
That's true, yeah.
Williams
I'm sure we'll see
throw
more of
under
them.
Pressure, gets away from one man, and loses the football.
Williams on the keeper. Fumble on the play.
And the Wolverines recovered.
Recovered by Woodland Hills. Third down.
Big break for Woodland Hills that they were able to fall on it. It'll be a third and about 1, maybe 2 yards. I'll call it 1. And the Indians are there to stuff Brandon Jones for a loss of 2.
Brandon Jones on the carry. Brought down
And the Wolverines
backfield
punt
by
team
Luke.
will come on. Luke Pugliese with the tackle for the Indians.
Obviously a much better defensive possession that time for the Indians, forcing the 3 and out after almost jumping on a loose ball there that Williams dropped. But great work by the Indians defense to force this 3 and out, force Woodland Hills to punt it away.
High kick, fair catch, called for and made at the 48-yard line by DeAndre Cochran.
For the punt.
Penn Hills will take over. 6:09 to go here in the first quarter. We are tied at 7. And Penn Hills starting
By DeAndre Cochran.
on the Woodland Hills side of the football. I have to mention tonight's game is a Great American Rivalry Series game sponsored by the United States Marine Corps. Anytime these teams meet, it's a Great American Rivalry Series game, as it should be.
First time in a while.
Indians with some room to run, left side, first down. Amir Rollins down to the 36-yard line, a gain of 12.
Penn Hills is...
Indians not doing anything fancy. They're just running the football.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're doing a good job of mixing up run plays and pass plays. We've seen Duggar, a couple completions, and Penn Hills keeping the ball on the ground. If you can pick up 10 yards on a carry, why switch it up?
Key deep in the eye behind Duggar. And the Indians
Flag on the field.
got some movement there.
Illegal procedure. Penn Hills.
So now 1st and 15 for Penn Hills. Toss this way. Key gets some blocks in front, gets inside the 40, then inside the 35 to 30, and out of bounds, close to a first down.
Amir Key on the carry.
See where they spot him. It's going to be 2nd down. So the yard's short, so a gain of 14 on the play. And again, nothing fancy. Just a simple toss to the right. And Key had some blockers in front.
Yeah, good job up front by the Indians. If you want to run the ball, which it seems Penn Hills does, you got to stay strong up front and hold your blocks to open up those gaps.
There's wide receiver screen this way. Duggar will have the first down.
Duggar pass complete to Duggar. Tripped up on the play by Harris.
Down to the 21-yard line, 7 yards.
That play results in Penn Hills first down.
And Penn Hills undaunted by that 1st and 15. Come on, the next 2 plays and gain 21 yards.
And so the penalty didn't slow him down at all. It went right back to the brother-to-brother connection to pick up a big first down inside the 30-yard line.
Key again, straight up the middle. Dives inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. 4 yards for the Indians.
Amir Key on the carry.
Clock under 4.5 and running here in the first quarter. Wolverines and Indians tied at 7. Indians on the ground.
Amir Key up the middle.
And Key gets inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Back-to-back 4-yard pickups for number 4. Duggar with the keeper inside the 5, fights his way towards the end zone. Doesn't quite get the push to get there. Woodland Hills says they got the football.
Run down on the play by number 75.
Deontay Williams for Woodland Hills picked up that ball and started running down the field thinking Woodland Hills had a fumble there. But a great run there by Julian Duggar on the option, decided to keep it. The middle of that defense just was wide open, and Duggar took it all the way down to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal now for the Indians.
And Duggar finishes the deal, plows in for the 2-yard run, and Penn Hills with their first lead of the night. Touchdown coming with 3:12 to go. Here in quarter number 1.
That was a pretty much perfect drive by Penn Hills despite that one false start penalty, but they went forward on every play, picked up a big chunk of yardage coming on the ground. But very nice looking drive there from the Indians.
Kick up, kick good. 3:12 to go, first quarter. Penn Hills 14, Woodland Hills 7 here on the Indians Football Network.
14. Woodland Hills 7.
Penn Hills scoring on back-to-back drives now to take the 14-7 lead here late in the first quarter. Woodland Hills, that first drive, maybe a fluke, that long touchdown run by Iris Seibels. And then a 3-and-out for the Wolverines on their second drive. So now we got to see how Woody High, is going to respond now trailing for the first time in this game.
Still no lights on here at the stadium. It's starting so early. Kind of
that-
nice, actually. The long shadows going across the field.
It's that early kickoff.
Kick high, short, taken at the 15-yard line by Reddix. Trying to look to go to the right side. Has a bit of a wall that way and some room to run. Indians will close up, and he gets a nice return across the 35.
On the return.
Out about to the 38-yard line.
By DeAndre.
Angelo Reddix and Deontay Williams both going for that ball. Luckily, Reddix came away with it cleanly. It could have easily been a fumble there on that kickoff, but Reddix caught it cleanly and got a pretty decent return out of it, getting all the way up to the 35.
So the Wolverines will start at their own 35-yard line. Big hole. Up, ball out again, but they're saying Seibels was down. Seibels, a nifty run of 14.
Play by number 9, Alan Parker. That play results in a Woodland Hills.
Good tackle there by Alan Parker. If he didn't bring down Seibels, I don't know who would have. Could have seen a 65-yard touchdown run from the Woody High running back. Great tackle there by the Penn Hills defense.
Brandon Jones on the carry.
Jones ahead for 3.
Brought down by Allen. Parker. Into Key Parker.
We knew coming into this one that Woodland Hills was going to switch up the rushing attack. Both running backs, Seibels and Jones, both over 20 carries this year. They each have a rushing touchdown and over 120 yards for both of them.
And Deontay Williams keeping it himself and gets wrapped up in the backfield for a big loss. Penalty flag in. I think I'm going to get a face mask against the Indians.
Now Williams was just swarmed there, trying to get out of the backfield, just swarmed by the Penn Hills Indians. Good job by the defense until the penalty, which will move Woodland Hills forward.
So it negates the loss and a 15-yard penalty. Actually, it wasn't. They gave him a 5-yarder on that one. But it is a first down. Williams keeps it himself, tries to find a lane.
Williams on the keeper.
Picks up 3.
That was a high snap there by Eamon Costello, the senior center for the Wolverines, but Williams did a great job of bringing it down and getting at least some positive yardage out of it. It was only 3 yards, but better than a fumble or going backwards.
Throw this way, pass complete.
Williams pass.
Lewis Calloway took a shot, held onto the football.
Run down.
Got a first down.
DeAndre.
The 28-yard line.
That play results in Woodland Hills. First down.
That was a big hit there on Calloway. Good job holding on to the ball and picking up the first down. Calloway, only his 5th catch of the season. Before this, he was 4 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. So he's very capable. Just hasn't been used a whole lot this season as we tick down towards the end of the first quarter.
DeAndre Cochran with the big hit on Callaway. And that will do it now officially. At the end of 1, your score, Penn Hills 14, Woodland Hills 7. You are watching the Penn Hills Indians Football Network.
Good back and forth game so far tonight between the Penn Hills Indians and the Woodland Hills Wolverines. So far, Penn Hills' offense, a perfect 2 for 2 on its first 2 drives of this game. Julian Duggar, the quarterback. Solid game so far today, rushing the ball as well as throwing. Julian connected to his brother Jaden for that 33-yard touchdown for the first touchdown for the Indians, and then Julian Duggar keeping it himself with that 2-yard quarterback sneak from the Woody High 2-yard line. Now Penn Hills' defense being tasked to come up with a stop as Woodland Hills has it 1st and 10 from the Indians' 28. And now the lights finally kick on. And the temperature's kind of dropped a little bit. First got here sweating, walking up the hill to get into the press box, but seems the temperature's starting to drop.
Williams comes to the right. Indians are there. Had nowhere. It looked like he wanted to throw, had nowhere to go, and he'll be sacked for a loss of 2.
On the keeper. Brought down by a Key Parker.
Key Parker, great tackle on that last play. We know how dynamic and quick Deontay Williams is. Parker doing a good job wrapping up his legs, not letting him get anywhere except for backwards for a loss of 2.
So we got some greetings from George Freeman. Playing down at the Washington Presidents. That's Washington and Jefferson College. Glad to see you and you're doing well, Big George. Wolverines will call a timeout on the 2nd down and 12. I want to give a special shout out though to a good friend of mine whose help I couldn't make tonight's game, and that's my buddy Carl Jones. Carl always does what he can do. Does what it takes to try to get into these games, and it's appreciated. Not more than he knows. Thanks, Carl, for helping us get here tonight to the early kickoff. Jet sweep left side. Indians are there. Short gain for Angelo Reddix. Maybe 3.
Tackle by number 13, Keith Condon.
Both of these teams on offense, we've seen a lot of motions going east and west across the field. Just a good way to distract the defense, try to throw them off a little bit, but that time, that run by Reddix virtually going nowhere. Great job by the Indians defense once again.
Williams.
Got him
late hand
wide
off, goes
open.
towards the end zone, has a man, and he overthrows him.
Williams pass. Incomplete. Intended for Stephen
Jenkins was open for a short time there.
Yeah, Williams just missed him. He was running free for the last 5 or 6 yards there. Williams just overthrowing him out of the corner of the end zone, but that could have been an easy 6 points for the Wolverines to try to tie this game up.
Now it's 4th and 9. And Williams doesn't go anywhere. Luke Pugliese stop him for a pickup of 2. And Woodland Hills will turn the ball over on downs.
Tackle on the play by number 43, Keith Pellman.
Keith Pellman on the tackle.
Take over on down.
Penn Hills takes over at their own 25-yard line.
Woodland Hills offensive line on that drive. A lot of holes there for the Indians defense to run through. this year or last year, the Wolverines graduated 3 starting offensive linemen. That's definitely a position where you want size and experience. Still some good size out there for Woodland Hills, but only 1 senior. That's Eamon Costello, the center, starting for that Wolverines front 5.
Yeah, nothing doing there for Amir Key. The Wolverines stuff him for a loss of 3.
Amir Key on the carry. Tackle by John Edmondson.
And the Wolverines jump off sides.
Encroachment, Woodland Hills.
A great defensive play on that last play for a loss of 3 yards, but Penn Hills will get it back after that encroachment penalty. 2nd and 8 now for the Penn Hills Indians.
Key trying to go to the right side. Lose 1 tackle in the backfield. Scampers his way across the 30.
Amir Key on the carry.
And they mark him at the
Tackle by
33-yard
Yuhas
line.
McGinley. 3rd down.
It'll be 3rd and about 2. Tight formation. Bring a man in motion this way. That's Rollins. And Rollins held for no game. Nice job by the Woodland Hills defense.
On the carry. Tackle by Stephen Jenkins. 4th down.
Good stand there by the Woodland Hills defense after the Wolverines offense turned the ball over on downs. Chance to get the ball back and a chance to try to knot this one up at 14, awaiting the Charlie Rosemeyer punt.
Rosemeyer does a nice job. Gets the kick away. Spinning kick. Hits it to 35. Takes an Indians bounce and rolls out at the 25-yard line. Nice kick by Rosemeyer.
25-yard line.
And the Wolverines will take over with 7:56 to go in the half. Penn Hills 14, Woodland Hills 7. Wolverines scored on their 3rd play of the game. And then the Indians scored twice. Julian to Jaden for 33 yards, and then Julian kept it himself from 2 yards out.
We said it was going to be a back-and-forth game tonight, and that's what it's been. Each team scoring after the other team would score on their drives, and then turnover on downs, and then a punt on these teams' last 2 offensive drives.
Williams.
Williams on the
Short
keeper.
gain. Keith Pellman holds him for only a pickup of 2.
Alan Parker and Keith Pellman.
And Williams ran right in the Pellman, and he held him up very nicely, not letting Williams escape. And so far, this Penn Hills defense has done a good job containing Deontay Williams and not letting him break through for any big runs.
And looks like the Wolverines lose too much time.
Flag on the field. Delay game.
25.
Williams, straight drop. Flushed out of the pocket, rolls to his left, looks for somewhere to go, and he's hit and dropped in the backfield for a loss of 3.
Williams sacked in the backfield by number 43.
Keith Pellman on his sack. It'll bring up a third at about 16 for the Wolverines.
Yard gain on the first play of the drive, and then coming up with a huge sack there to give Woody High a 3rd and 16 from its own 19. See what Deontay Williams and the Wolverines offense draw up here on a 3rd and long.
Big play for the Indians defense here. Williams looked like he wanted to try the wide receiver screen, was flushed, kept it himself, and he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage at the 25-yard line. Tackle by number 59, Ben Reeves.
Penn Hills so far this season in its first 2 games gave up 89 total points between Gateway and Central Catholic, but other than that first drive, Penn Hills defense has been looking very solid so far this first half.
Williams gets the kick away. Duggar out to the 45-yard. How could they marked him back to the 43, got to the 45, they pushed him back to the 43. Oh, the official on the far side is giving him the 45. Indians take over with 5:23 to go in the half. They're up by 7, looking to add more, and they will give them the 45-yard line. I gotta tell you, if you notice when Wolverines punt, their up back blocker, number 2, Jashawn Pringle. 5'7", 243 pounds. You're not getting by him.
That was a great punt by Williams, too. Penn Hills is good field position, but good job by Williams just to get it out of there.
Penn Hills will call a timeout.
Penn Hills.
Just a little programming note for those of you who enjoy watching the games on the Indians Football Network. Prior commitment next week, we will not be doing the game. Penn Hills Football Network. So our friends at the Trib High School Sports Network are bailing us out. They have agreed to do the game. Not only are they doing the game next week on the Trib, they have switched it to their game of the week. Lanny Fratelli and Bob Orquist will be calling the game for us. So next week's game at Upper St. Clair will be exclusively, solely, and only on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Low snap, Duggar. Still try to hand it off to Key. Miss handoff. Key wisely just falls on it to take the loss and live to fight another day.
Yeah, Duggar and Key there just not on the same page, I guess. A little sloppy on the handoff, but as you mentioned, Amir Key, good job just falling on the ball, keep possession at least. You lose a couple yards, but in that case, you'd rather have that than turn it over to Woodland Hills. Clock inside 5 minutes. Penn Hills at 14-7 lead, 2nd and 14 for the Indians.
Duggar on the keeper.
Duggar for another loss.
By number 13, Curtis McMillan.
Indians going backwards, back to the 36-yard line. And that'll be 3rd and 19.
Not a good start to this drive for the Indians. Almost a fumble, 2 negative plays for the Indians. See what they draw up here on 3rd and long.
Well, the clock is rolling under 4 minutes. Duggar with the straight drop. Launching one downfield towards his brother and almost makes the one-handed catch.
Duggar pass incomplete. Intended for Duggar. Fourth down.
Then we're going to have 4th down. The punt team will come on. The clock stops with 3:47 to go.
Good throw from Julian Duggar there. He had a lot of time to throw. Great blocking up front by the Indians' offensive line. Just missed his brother Jaden on that long throw, bringing up a 4th down. Just from start to finish, that drive not looking too good for Penn Hills.
Folks from Slippery Rock University checking in, watching tonight's game. High, short kick. And we'll go out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Rosemeyer under pressure, managed to get the kick away. But the Wolverines will have good field position at their own 46-yard line. 3:38 to go here in the half. They trail 14-7 on the Penn Hills Indians.
Woodland Hills almost coming away with a block there on that punt. Good job by Penn Hills just to get it out of its own territory, but it sets up Woodland Hills with great field position starting on its own 46-yard line.
And the Indians' defense is there. They just slammed.
Tackle on the play by Luke.
Seibel's down. That was Luke Pugliese. Loss of 4. Pugliese, 6'2", 275. That was tonight's Great American Rivalry Scholar Athlete for the Penn Hills Indians.
And coming up with a great tackle there, pushing Woodland Hills back 4 yards, and then see back-to-back defensive possessions that Penn Hills has dominated the line of scrimmage.
Williams flushed out of the pocket by Pugliese. Looks for somewhere to go, and he's going to be sacked by Duggar back about the 30-yard line. Duggar come flying in to drop Williams.
In the backfield by Jaden Duggar.
Duggar lost his helmet. He's going to come off for a play. It's a loss of 12 on the sack. And the Indians use a timeout here. No, Penn Hills called a timeout. Duggar can come back in.
Yeah, 3rd and 25. It's going to be tough for Woodland Hills deep in its own territory now, but Duggar, an explosive play on the far sideline there. Williams had nowhere to go. He was trying to make something out of nothing. Ended up losing around 12 yards on that sack from Duggar, but as I mentioned earlier, the Penn Hills defense dominating the line of scrimmage and Woodland Hills' offense having nowhere to go.
Williams with Jones to his right, and they go with the reverse. Reddix, is he going to try to throw? No, he looks for somewhere to run. And the Indians are there. Coming up to make the tackle is Cameron Thomas.
Angelo Reddix on the run. Tackle by Cam Thomas.
Hey, a pickup of 2.
3rd down. 4th down.
Back-to-back dominant defensive possessions there for the Penn Hills Indians. Back-to-back punts coming for the Wolverines, but can't mention it enough. If that offensive line can't hold up, then the defense is going to continue to rip through the line and get into the backfield as they did on those last 3 plays.
Now Penn Hills looking to get the ball back. 2:35 to go here in the first half. They're up 7. And if they're able to get the ball back and score, they get the ball to start half number 2.
Yeah, that's a great way to strategize football game, if you're able to score before the end of the half and then get it back, it's a great opportunity to score 14 points. And already with the lead, that'll be very dangerous for Woodland Hills if they let that happen.
Nice snap. Williams gets the kick away under pressure. High kick. Fair catch made at the 39-yard line
One by
by
Williams. Fair cut.
Jaden
By
Duggar.
Jaden Duggar.
So 2:28 to go. The Indians at their own 39. That punt took 7 seconds. Almost all of it was in the air.
I was going to say, that one went real high up there in the air. Good job by Duggar to keep an eye on it and cleanly handle that one with a fair catch. But 2:28 here to go in the second quarter. 2 timeouts for the Indians. And their offense has looked pretty solid so far this first half, so let's see if they can at least get into field goal range before the end of the half.
Duggar with a straight drop. Looks, and he's going to be sacked. I think sophomore's got to learn to get rid of that ball.
Sacked in the backfield by
Back at the 27.
Cruz McMillan on the sack there for Woodland Hills. Great play by him, keeps the clock running, and took the Indians' offense backwards.
Julian looks for somewhere to go, comes to the left, looks downfield, no, take off running himself, and gets out of bounds after getting most of the sack yardage back to make it a 3rd and manageable.
Out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
Good job by
37, a pickup of 10. Maybe 3rd and 12, maybe 11.
Good job by Duggar there to make up for that sack yardage and get out of bounds to stop the clock with 2:10 to go here first half. But still a 3rd and long coming up for Penn Hills.
Penn Hills 1 timeout left. 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes. And the clock should read 2 minutes.
Two-minute drill now for Julian Duggar, 3rd and long. See how he can handle it.
Duggar. Penalty flag comes in. He's got a couple of holding calls. Well, brother Julian will be short.
Flag on the
Excuse me, Jaden will be short of the first down. See if Woodland Hills takes the penalty, which they probably should. Or bring up the 4th down.
That was a pretty blatant hold there on the edge by the Penn Hills offensive line. And just taking another step backwards.
In essence, a 17-yard penalty. It's a spot foul. 1:54 to go. The Indians now with a 3rd and half a mile. Duggar gets a pass away, throws to his brother, who catches it at the 37-yard. It's thrown out of bounds, and then he's thrown down.
Duggar pass complete to Jaden Duggar.
Nothing called.
Good sportsmanship there by Lewis Calloway for Woodland Hills. Walked over to Jaden Duggar on the sideline, gave him a pat on the back. Little high-five exchange there. All good. Good sportsmanship between those two.
Indians get the punt away, taken at the 28-yard line, and return to the 34 by Brandon Jones.
On the return.
Wolverines will have it with 1:37 to go.
DeAndre Cochran on the tackle.
Woodland Hills now decent field position starting on its own 34. Still have 2 timeouts left. but the Wolverines' offense has been pretty stagnant so far in this first half. Penn Hills' defense been dominating these last 2 possessions, so let's see how aggressive Woodland Hills wants to be, trying to put more points up before going into the break.
Williams gets flushed. Penalty flag comes in.
Williams on the keeper. Flag on the play.
Holding against
Tackle on the play.
Wolverines.
By number 57, 8, Bam. Holding Woodland Hills.
It's 4 or 5 penalties now against the Wolverines in a tight game like this. You can't have those kind of hiccups. And so far it's only hurt the Wolverines in this one as the clock continues to run inside a minute and a half.
Wolverines have 2 timeouts left. The Indians 1. Williams rolls, throws underneath. And pass incomplete. Stops the clock with 1:06. I think if you're Woodland Hills, you're backed up a bit here. You just want to run the ball and keep that clock and get out of here.
Yeah, I think now they're at 2nd and 23. That's a long way to go. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by a run play here. Just take the 14-7 deficit into halftime. Give a speech in the locker room and try to make some adjustments to deal with this Penn Hills defense, who's been forceful against this Woodland Hills offensive line so far in this first half.
Wolverines do, in fact, keep it on the ground.
Seibels on the carry.
Seibels gets stripped of the ball. They're going to roll him down.
Tackle on the play by number 13, Keith Condon.
And that's the risk you're taking running the ball. You got to protect it, especially in this area of the field with this little amount of time left.
I think if you're Penn Hills, you use your timeout here. Unless you get them to run it and then call a timeout immediately after. Maybe it does make more sense after this play. Wolverines on the ground. Big gain out to the 40-yard line, but they'll be short of the first down.
Brandon Jones on the carry. Brought down by number 8, Akeem Parker. 4th down.
It's 4th down. Penn Hills does not use the timeout. And it looks like we're going to go to the locker room.
Akeem Parker and Amir Rowlands colliding with each other, going for that tackle there. They both got up to their feet quickly, though.
14, Woodland Hills, 7.
So after one half, are we at halftime? What are we at here?
Yeah,
Or did Penn Hills call a timeout?
they're saying 2 seconds left on the clock. So we will see one more play here at the end of the first half. It's 4th and 4. So it'll be interesting to see what Woodland Hills wants to do with these final 2 seconds.
If I'm Woodland Hills, I line up in punt formation, take the snap, stand there, and take a knee.
I was thinking, or Williams gets the snap, drop back 2 seconds, and whip it out of bounds or throw it into the ground. But even in this situation, you got to be careful with what you do. You don't want to have a silly mistake and turn it over.
It looks like that's what Woodland Hills is going to do. Give him one play to try to throw the Hail Mary. And it has a man down by the 10, and almost a fantastic catch.
Pass incomplete.
Great effort by Gene Edmondson.
And now,
It would have been a great catch, but it would have been the end of the half anyways. But good effort there by Williams and Edmondson. Again, trying to make something out of nothing.
After one half of play, your score, Penn Hills 14, Woodland Hills 7. Second half action coming your way next. You are watching the Penn Hills Indians Football Network. For those of you watching the broadcast on the Trib side, stick around. Don Rebel with some scores and other tidbits from the Trib Live High School scoreboard studio. Again, your score at halftime. Penn Hills 14, Woodland Hills 7 on the Indians Football Network.
A 3-minute warm-up. Makes a good team.
And Savage is off.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's halftime. It was halftime of the band. So, as some of you know, our very own marching band will be going to Disney in January. So let's hear some of the sounds that they were here when they were there.
When you need it the most. A real offer, getting real results.
How you doing? How you doing? You all right, fine.
different organization. I've never heard of it.
It's like Woodland Hills TV.
Yeah.
They're part of the rivalry games.
Huh?
And then they do rivalry games.
No, I think it's Woodland. That's Rocks and Vince and Woodland Hills people.
I didn't know at the end there. I didn't know what happened. For 2 seconds.
Call the timeout with 2 seconds.
When he hides, I don't know why.
Ground ball.
High school here, and I still know some seeing reviews from the press box. Here it is.
There it is.
You'll see the Indians on their side, they come out. They have left a few opportunities on the field with Duggar, the combination where
Thank you.
he was open. His brother couldn't get the ball. I'm sure he got in at halftime and or power line or Duggar would say, hey, look, go for me early on.
You guys have time to actually eat this week. You guys actually have time to eat this week.
You know what? It's sad about it.
Indeed.
Yep, it's very sad.
We have no fans here. Joining us here.
We all said that going to court. Like, yeah, you ever to break down the court 20 minutes before you get something, and then break back on. Now it's back to being it adds another 2 hours to the day just in traffic. But I'd rather be back to normal than what we were.
I know stop and say, oh yeah, you turn it up.
Wolverines. Passing wide. 7 yards. So Angela 2. Receiving yard. Sybils. Need the yards. About to get under.
Sybils through the first half. Or from the Woodland first these two teams made.
Duggar.
Brought down by
And I think the way that its offensive line creating whole
Roll.
There's two backfield defenders there. 9 from clock was at, but forced to call it.
Pass complete. Indians. Turn. On the tackle.
Decent havoc.
Wolverines had
and again.
yard line. Picks up 7.
Already with a defense so far.
Time.
The foot. Step forward until it's 3rd and long.
Looking. First down.
First down. Deontay. She likes to run coming into. A good bit of pressure. Cock.
Inside 33-yard line.
Nice gain on this. Now in the
down to the 30. Wolverines are just
drive of the game. Plays. Ball less here in the
Indian Cup.
or tackle by the and give finish to this drive if Willie this for
John Ed 2-yard line.
Down in 3.
And it'll be King.
picked up a couple first downs. And now Penn
on the ground.
Pringle, the big 5'7" defense, only holding.
.45 to the 5. Indians will have a third and down.
Hill. Either way, the penalty makes it like that play next. Territory.
Flag on the play.
After Indians and lost.
Keep it. The Indians.
Number 27.
Of long
Drop. Approaching 5 minutes. Throws short. Down. 5 right now. 5 minutes.
order. Out to be.
Come back for 14.
After done during school 20. Indians.
50 pot is tonight. To start this starting quarterback back. He found a lot of success. 14.
Quarterback at 400 rushing yards.
All Big East. Williams so far tonight is. And if the Indians want to hold on 12 minutes here.
And he's going to be sacked back.
And the 5'9" junior was the first one. A great
Pranks. Gets glee.
Not sure what the now for the third straight play. Negative play.
243. High. Eluded attack. Pick up a down and 13. Remain.
Yeah, again, I don't really know what the strategy. Handled it very well. Forces.
Williams takes an Indian bounce. With 9-4 at the Wood. I think I'm marking back to the 43.
Yeah, anytime you can start. He had a big advantage to find the end zone.
Thank you.
And to beat and put was Callaway at the 22.
So again, Penn Hills quarter and fix it. And folks back.
Dance with Duggar 25-yard line.
A fumble between that Amir Key's been yards, but again,
Probably.
Under a lot of pressure, forced Duggar to make a wobble into Jaden's hand.
Third. And the Wolverines.
By Frank Keys.
Frank Keys there, good. Reddix wasn't able to bring down. Now 4th and long coming up.
Line would be a 42-yard. Oh, he's unable to hold on to it as he rolls out of bounds. Like Antrell Plowden.
Duggar looked like his receiver had it for a able to haul it in. Spoiled it with a turnover on Duggar.
Penn Hills. Tom.
Great Iris C. Saving tackle there.
Maybe 2.
Offense. Different guys in the that hasn't been too.
Hey, Jones inside.
Brandon. First down.
And another critical defense. Pick up 20+ yards.
The Indians are there. And running. In the red zone, ball to 12 yards. He'll be sacked. 15 yards.
Desperately needs. Hills hasn't scored since the third. Back Brandon Jones.
First and
there by the Indy goal line, but now first and goal from.
there's the
Drive there by Woodland Hills. Him up on the goal line, and then his first touchdown.
Penn Hills.
Huge extra point for.
The extra point is no good.
oh my.
Penn Hills.
Huge.
Bigger than drive of the just the 3 and out. Penn Hills has been able to do on the
Looking for nice. Hard line.
field by the Indians. Offs and by the Woodland Hills 29-yard line.
Julie looking at that big play clock.
Here, 1-point lead. Penn Hills.
Just 30 inch.
On the stop for. But either way, that's a huge. Just around 4 minutes.
Wow. About 20 seconds, 20 to the first down.
Took the play clock all the way down the. They didn't get flagged for a delay. With two. Out, shoving off and giving the
key to Doug. Slots. Dogger keep yard line. Clock approaching 3.
Luis Callaway to the back of the end zone for the 2nd and goal. Minutes now.
Down.
On the carry.
He held for no gain. Look at you say no gain?
Bold call to go until you're at or inside. But you're at the line of scrimmage.
Out.
In this game, if Woodland Hills feel safe, but Penn Hills is deep. If they don't, so this is goal.
I think it's 2 on a stopped clock. An empty backfield. Off on a sweep. It's picked up by the Indians. Woodland Hills gets it back. Seconds, the Wolverines will have timeouts left.
Offense has been pretty slow and not very.
Hit. Gleese with the pressure for the Indians as the Wolverines go.
Yes, and the huddle there for the Wolverines.
Formation. Williams looks wants to. Intended for Cal.
Coming towards the middle of the left, it was a tough throw. Stops at 133. However,
Marines 93. And the
still with 2 timeouts. down here, they would still have Woodland Hills, and they. I mean, running the clock going, but get that first down.
Now they're on their. And gets tripped.
On the carry, Woodland Hills.
So now you got to go.
They have one timeout left.
It's able to get the ball back.
But then, second. And there's 73.
Attempt their field goal, or even if you turn 90 yards.
With under 30 seconds. For the Wolverines. Seconds.
Yeah.
Trips to the for Dion. First down.
Edmondson.
Defender and very heads up move.
Bounds at the 30. Sandy, Kevin Williams.
Point just can't.
Angelo Reddix. 6 to go, and a very exciting game. Touchdown late here. And we are at 14-13 Indy. Jump.
For a full.
Well, guess who wins? Gets in.
Down in.
Did he catch it? He's in.
Couple inches away. Forces Woodland. seconds to go. Last drive. The front. Wolverines find
more to go. First down at the 40.
huge.
Down.
Spike. Going for a pass or a staying down on the field.
Seconds remain. Incomplete.
50-pound soft.
Need to try to get one play in rain.
Here it's a play.
Bounds would probably be.
Have coming on. So
They're setting up
holder, so you could see some.
Indeed, kick it and
Piece of it is prop. For the guess, it would be a kneel down against Central Cap. Great. What's going to be percent. Referees telling them to get
on a false start.
that.
Snap penalty.
The playbook.
Go. Woodland and the On the third play of the game. From 2-7. Run, plunge, extra point, hit, one ended.
A 6 defense to and check the offensive side. Amount of first down. Not having tall. Penn Hills
is really going to have a chance. Probably one.
Williams, he has some. The sensation being proud. Looking.
The first touchdown pass. Hills the 60. It was.
Yeah, he kind of. He breaks. Injury was offensive line until defense.
Well, the Woodland Hills are on foot. And Penn Hills 3 possessions.
Woodland Hills point in this. But again, and then essentially he's over with
8 minutes to go. 70. Very fast.